My name is Mathew Huck. I'm a filmmaker, photographer, and a self-proclaimed adventurer. Here's the day this incredible journey began. My job along this incredible journey is to document and to tell our story as we travel around the world aboard my captain's new 50-foot carbon fiber catamaran. A vessel built for two purposes: to compete and win the largest and most famous ocean races all over the world, and to do it in style.
Some of those things you don't realize how high it is until you get up there. All right, Pete.
We'll load up onto the boat. They're gonna pick us, fly us all the way out. They're gonna lower us down.
This is John Barry III, my captain, and a man who, before I met him, had already completed one circumnavigation around the world in his old sailing trimaran.
I did it on a Hammerhead 54. Okay. Chris White. Are you familiar with it?
No.
It's a Chris White trimaran.
Okay.
It was built to race. She did the single-handed transpac twice and won.
Okay.
And bought it from another Colorado guy. The guy owns Unveiling Brewery.
Okay.
You know, Fat Tire beer.
Yeah.
I bought it from him. So she was pretty Spartan.
Well, how many days did that take you?
We took 8 years to do it, but we spent the summer in Arctic and some time in Antarctica and 76 countries in between.
Okay. So you pick your way around.
Right.
Cool.
And I go home every winter to ski.
Yeah. That's the, just park it, go back.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah. It's hectic, Alex.
I bet.
I wouldn't recommend it.
What? Sailing around the world?
Well, hectic like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much better. Every morning, just think you get to wake up with the same woman, and every day you get to go to the same job.
Yeah.
It's very calming. And for me, I don't have any of that.
I think you're doing all right, man.
Early morning. It's about 6 a.m. We're about to see off the old Avalanche. They're headed down to Cabo before us, but you guys got to see this. Beautiful day. Set sail in the water. Wow. See you guys soon.
He's spent his entire life as an entrepreneur, planning and working to buy a boat of this magnitude. So sexy. For the last month, we've been living aboard our new home in a harbor in California, provisioning and testing her for the adventures to come. Call us humanitarians, ocean travelers, adventure junkies, but I like to think of us as modern-day explorers who seek an opportunity to experience life and everything it has to offer. Let me introduce some of the crew who will be racing all around the world. This is Gio, a rigger and a man with wisdom beyond his years.
Basically, sailing is getting into a shipping container with a group of people with the tools you bring with you and the food you bring with you, and you just go that direction. And your universe is only as big as that boat. So there's no cell phones, there's no emails bugging you. You can completely unplug from all of the background noise. It's like what people try to get to over years of meditating. Like, you can do that. You can just go out here and your universe is only as big as you and the people you bring with you. And there's an incredibly pure aspect to that. You can't hide who you are. You can't hide the way you would respond to stressful situations, because things break constantly. Things are constantly needing to be adjusted. There are constantly problems to solve. And who you are as a person will reveal itself through that. If you are offshore with someone for several days, especially in races, where there's pressure and there's schedules and there's competitors and you're pushing yourselves to constantly be better. And that brings out different qualities in people. And there's where that purity comes into it too, because I know that I'm good under pressure. I know I thrive in chaos. And I know that I need that in my psyche in order to feel alive. And I can get that on a regular basis with generally good results. And that whole process is what I love the most.
And then just to do this the right way so we don't do it multiple times, at the end of the day, we're going to strip the mainsail off, debone it, and brick it so that I can get the battens, fit everything properly down in San Diego, and bring it back mid next week. And then we'll work on reinstalling it and just get it done once and done right. So.
This is Gino, the designer and genius behind Avalanche. He is one of the most prominent and accomplished multi-hull sailors in the world. He has won the America's Cup on his own designs and is a leading pioneer of the industry.
Back in 1988, I was part of the America's Cup team in San Diego. That was the first catamaran that raced for the America's Cup, and we won. So after the America's Cup, we got asked to do a 125-footer for Steve Fawcett. And that boat was called PlayStation. And that consumed about 7, 8 years of our lives as we designed, built, campaigned that boat. And we set, at one point we had like 12 or 13 world records sailing, most miles in 24 hours twice, the Atlantic record, both west to east and east to west. I was on board for about 12 of those records as a watch captain, and that was really exciting sailing. Those were real hardcore offshore 4 to 10 day kind of blasts. And by reaching those next levels of competency, we've been able to basically plow everything we've learned from America's Cup and PlayStation back into boats like Avalanche. We joke that the HHs are race boats in disguise. The chassis, the guts of the boat is built like if it were a race boat. It's all carbon. It's highly tuned to take the loads of racing as opposed to cruising. The boats are built to fly a hull. Most cruising cats in these size ranges aren't really designed to fly a hull. And flying a hull is what really differentiates HHs from many other brands. The rigs are stronger, the The lines are bigger, the standing rigging's stronger, the sails are stronger, everything's built to be able to fly. You may not sail the boat with a hull in the air, but you can. And that's what really differentiates HHs from a lot of the more common production boats.
This is Patrick Murray, an incredibly decorated sailor and one of the most talented sailmakers.
The biggest part that we have the technology in Minden and this 3DI technology, which you guys see, but it's also the people, and North Sails wouldn't be the technology, and we wouldn't have that technology if we didn't have the team. So 3DI is a really unique product in the way that it's built, and in the way that it's, again, the way that the carbon fiber is prepped, the materials are prepped, and it's a blend, because if it was all carbon, it'd be a solid wing. So in order to get it to be flexible enough to tack, to fold, to furl, all that kind of stuff, takes a blend of carbon, Dyneema, and other products in it. The combination and the way that those materials are laid into the sail is really what makes it unique. And then it's primary bonded the whole way through, so you don't have any films like you're used to. So I'd say the biggest thing is, like, again, going back to what changes from our competitors, without films and without strings, you don't have to worry about the bonds of the mylars, and there's all this talk of taffetas, and taffetas is another name for a thin layer over the top of the sails. But then you're still relying on a bond between the mylars and around the films, where 3DI, you take carbon fiber and Dyneema and you put it all together, hit it with heat, and by the time it's done, it's one piece. There are no bonds between the layers that used to cause delamination, so that's a really big difference.
It's almost like a bipolar boat. It's good for cruising and it's good for racing. So I think it's going to do well, especially in Transpac, because Transpac is typically 80% downwind and the average wind speed is about 16 knots. And that's a very good sweet spot for a boat like HH50 with big spinnakers and decent sailors on board that can keep it heated up and running fast day and night.
There's a lot of good sailors and a lot of good boats out there, and it's just who can get to the point where they can consistently push the boat. Skill set wise, conditions wise, equipment wise, you need to be able to basically pedal to the metal a boat 24 hours a day for 7 to 9 days.
We have a team full of tycoons, and half of them have yet to be revealed. Keep an eye out for our next episode as we put Avalanche through her paces and explore the Baja Peninsula and the Sea of Cortez to train for our very first 3 races in California.
Let's do some sailing, boys. How's that?
The truth be known, I really don't like sailing. I really like racing. I'm not one to go sailing with, friends on a sunny afternoon. My interest has always been really much more racing oriented.